Good morning, church family. This morning we are in Luke chapter 8, verses 40 through 48. And this set of verses follows up the story of Jesus crossing over the sea and going to the Gadarenes and healing a man who was demon possessed. And after he meets this man, casts out the demons that were in him, the man becomes of right mind. He is excited. He wants to follow Jesus, and Jesus says, no, you stay here, go to your family, tell them what God's done for you. But the community over there in the Gadarenes, and these are Gentiles, they respond in fear, and they ask Jesus to leave them alone. And so Jesus ends up returning back to the nation of Israel, back to the Hebrews. And so what's kind of cool about that story is that Jesus went to the Gadarenes for that guy, traveled over there for him, comes back. And so now in verse 40 and through 48 it reads, "So it was when Jesus returned that the multitudes had welcomed him, for they were all waiting for him." So they're waiting for him anxiously. "And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was a ruler of the synagogue." So that's kind of like an admin, pastor kind of position in the synagogue. "And he fell down at Jesus' feet and begged him to come to his house, for he had an only daughter about 12 years of age, and she was dying." So he obviously knows that Jesus has been healing people, both physically, spiritually. He's even raised people from the dead. So he's anxious to get Jesus to his house. But Jesus takes a little time with another woman. It says, "But as he went, the multitudes thronged him. Now a woman, having a flow of blood for 12 years, who had spent all her livelihood on physicians and could not be healed by any, came from behind and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her flow of blood stopped. And Jesus said, 'Who touched me?' When all denied it, Peter and those with him said, 'Master, the multitudes throng and press you and you say, who touched me?' But Jesus said, 'Somebody touched me, for I perceived power going out from me.' And now when the woman saw that she was not hidden, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared to him in the presence of all the people that the reason she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. And he said to her, 'Daughter, be of good cheer. Your faith has made you well. Go in peace.'" So Jesus takes a little side tour, instead of going directly to this man's house to heal the daughter. And this woman with flow of blood has been spending her livelihood on physicians. Luke himself was a physician, so he probably well understood what that would look like. She comes up embarrassingly, she's probably embarrassed by her condition and just being an unclean person back in that day. A woman at that time of the month or whatever would have been unclean ceremonially and would not be allowed near other people. So her just kind of coming up and touching his garment was probably her way to try to not be noticed, but seek relief. And Jesus knows somebody got healing, and she ends up having to share with everyone what happened and how she was healed. And Jesus' response is, "Dear daughter, be of good cheer. Your faith has made you well. Go in peace." So some might think that just touching Jesus's garment, just that cloth had the power to heal. And we kind of see that there's a lot of like scams around like that, where you'll see somebody trying to sell holy water online or on TV. Or this reminds me of when I was a young Christian. We were going to a Bible school, and there was this evangelist that came, and came to the church, and otherwise the church was teaching great Bible content, but they had this evangelist come, and he was trying to promote his hankies that were, supposedly had healing power in them. Just ridiculous stuff, So just be on the lookout for that. It's not some article, some trinket that's going to provide healing or a transformation. It's only Jesus and His Holy Spirit. And whether or not people are healed or not, that's a whole nother subject. But we see here that Jesus does have the power to heal, power to transform lives. And the other thing I want to talk about here is this thing that this issue of all these people that were brushing up against Jesus. That's not who we want to be. We want to be more like this woman, coming to Him directly, looking for transformation, salvation, just dropping into church, Christmas and Easter, or, knowing somebody who's a good Christian. That's brushing up against Jesus. That's not being tied into Him. That's not putting your faith into Him like this young lady. So let's try to be sure we're putting our faith in the right thing. That's Jesus, not some trinket, not even just brushing up against Him occasionally in a setting like a church on Christmas and Easter. But let's put our full faith in Him and His works. Love you, and just pray that you have a great day. Thank you.